Welcome into the Snapped Podcast, my personal audio journal. My name is Tyler Kluber. I'm a personal trainer and podcaster, but it gets a little bit deeper than that. And this show is going to give you an inside look on my thoughts concerning health and fitness, business, mindset, and creating the life that you feel lucky to live. I hope you enjoy the show. Sit back, relax, and let's have a day. Let's have a day. Let's have one. I'm having a day. Today, it's Wednesday, March 9th, 2022, and time flies. Time flies on all kinds of different spectrums. Today, time has flown. I'm recording this later than I've ever recorded a Snapped podcast, I think. Maybe one or two times I've recorded this late in the day. Today, and this week in general, I have been prepping for being away on vacation. So, I talk about I want to do one of these every week without fail. I don't take very many vacations, maybe one a year, and then a shorter one in the summer for 4 or 5 days down to the Lake of the Ozarks, where my in-laws have a cabin, a house, lake house. But other than that, not a lot of vacations. So I will not be having an episode next week, which kind of throws a wrench in me kind of wrapping up the Open as a total. But I guess that will just have to wait for another week. And then we'll already be at quarterfinals, which will be a whole nother weekend and a whole nother podcast. So there's a lot to go down. Who knows? Maybe if I have time, I will record. Well, no, I won't have time because I want to talk about the workout, and there's just not going to be a time for it. Anyway, I feel very fortunate to have a job, a career, if that's what you call this. I don't really like calling it that, but what I do to make income is very flexible. I don't know if there's a way for it to be any more flexible than it is. Doing podcasts on the Washed Up Walk-On side of things, and then writing programming and checking with clients, which can basically be done anywhere and on any time frame. I can work ahead. I know when all my clients need more programming. I know when they need to be checked in with. I can text them whenever, it's like on the podcast side of things. Yeah, I have to work a little bit harder this week and record 4 episodes instead of 2, but I can do that. And then the magic of just scheduling a podcast to release on a certain date is a nice little feature. And then it comes out and it feels like there was, you never missed a beat. So I just want to take a moment to recognize my self-gratitude for what I do and the freedom each day in which I get to live my life. Nice moment of silence for my freedom. It's amazing, and I'm blessed. I really do wake up every day and have a passion to do this. Not to do a podcast specifically, not to do fitness programming specifically, but to be free and creative and make my own schedule and live entrepreneurially, if that's a word or a phrase. And right now, that expresses itself in the form of podcasting and fitness and nutrition coach. So that's what we're doing. I love it. And it also allows me to sort of be an athlete on the other side of things, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Open Workout 22.2. Okay. And I don't want to make it long. In fact, I didn't even bring up the where I rank this week afterwards. We're going to talk about where I rank, how specifically within this workout, but also now in the world after 2 weeks. Spoiler alert, we did a little better. We did a little better than last week. And then, pairing those 2 weeks together, as I sort of explained last week, because you get rewarded for being consistent. Well, that puts you in a good spot worldwide. So I'm on the total ranking. First, the announcement. What was 22.2? It was announced 6 days ago on Thursday, the would have been 3rd, that 22.2 was a ladder, 1 up to 10, back down to 1, of 2 movements: deadlifts at 225 pounds and bar facing burpees. There is a little controversy in the CrossFit world on this side of things, because the open, as again, another topic I talked about last week, and sort of the idea of being well-rounded in the sport of fitness, is that they throw out a bunch of tests that test a bunch of different things. And then because you've practiced and you are good, you've honed in a skill on a bunch of different movements and let's call them modalities, disciplines, you're then rewarded for that by being named like, hey, you're good at fitness all around. This workout, and I'm not going to go deep into this, but this workout was a little bit lazy on the programming side, which I'm into. I love programming, in the sense that it's not the same workout. As you guys remember, last week was 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatch, and 15 box jump overs. And you're like, well, how is deadlifts and burpees the same as that? Well, if we break down the movement patterns, last week we did an upper body push off the ground with the wall walk. That taxes, the shoulders and the core a little bit. We did a pull from the ground with a weight. We did go overhead with that, but a pull from the ground with a weight, a 50-pound dumbbell. And we did jumping with box jump overs. This week, we did a push, upper body push off the ground with the burpee that taxes the shoulders and not the core too much, but the core. We did a pull from the ground with weight, deadlift, 225, much different stimulus than the dumbbell. And we did jumping over the bar. So it sort of elicited the same response. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you are, sort of saw a lot of the same people. I'll put a caveat in there. If you're strong enough to handle a 225 barbell, which granted, there are a lot of people who 225 deadlift gets introduced, and if you do the math on the rep scheme that I told you, hey, it's 1 up to 10 down to 1. That's a total of 100 reps. 1 to 10 or 10 to 1 is a very common structure in CrossFit or HIIT training. And everybody knows that 1 to 10 is 55 reps. On the way back down, you're just doing 9 to 1. And if you take 10 off of that 55, it's 45. You add those two together, 100, bang. 100 deadlifts at 225, 100 burpees over the bar. And you were given a 10-minute time cap to finish this, which is very aggressive, right? I would say less than 2% of people finished. So you're more than likely getting a score of a certain number of reps before you get time capped, which is what I did. Not mad about that. 225. So back to what I was saying, if you can handle a 225 barbell, this was a very similar stimulus to the first workout. You see a lot of guys who, if you look at their individual placement in workout 1 and individual placement in workout 2, it's basically in the same spot on the leaderboard. Maybe a little better because you have those people who drop off and are just straight little guy cardio ninjas who did well. But people who are well-rounded, it was basically a very similar stimulus, which is unfortunate. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second as we get into week 3 here, because they need to definitely come out with some stuff that is much different. And the hint is that they will. But 1 to 10 to 1, 100 deadlifts at 225 pounds, 100 bar facing burpees. For me personally, as far as how this workout looks for a person with my current skill set, I am really good at burpees. Something that most people can't say. Not only am I really good at burpees, but I have a bit of a mentality with burpees that is, I've overcome the suck, right? Burpees suck for most people. I have done so many burpees in my training, for some reason or other, mostly because I just really, I think they're a great movement. Um, it's a dynamic push up sort of off the ground, great for upper body strength and body control. Great movement for arms, great movement for cardio. It's basically a cardio movement with a little bit of upper body strength training at a low intensity, all wrapped into one. If you don't want to or don't have the ability to run, bike, row, ski, elliptical, like you can just do burpees. And so I've used it a lot. It's been in a lot. It's almost, I would say almost weekly. It's in an EMOM of some kind. Check the EMOM episode to figure out what that is. So I'm great at burpees, right? Great. Awesome. That's half the workout right there. Like bar facing. And with bar facing burpees in the past, in the CrossFit world, to jump over the bar, you can't step over the bar, right? So you have to jump with 2 feet. However, this year they relax the standard a little bit, and your both feet don't have to come off the ground at the same time. So you can kind of lead the jump with 1 foot, which takes away a lot of the fatigue factor. And if you stay low and don't really open your hips up on the jump, man, I fucking crushed these burpees. Now, on the other side of things, I probably ride too close to for someone who says they want to be competitive or is trying to be competitive. I ride much too close to the line of 225 being a detriment. Like that's too heavy for me if I want to be competitive, right? And it sort of illustrates the bigger problem, which is I'm just not good at deadlifting. I am not a top end strong deadlifter. I recently, in the last month, I think right before the open, pulled a all-time PR of 400 or 405. I can't remember. I think it was 405. Which would be 4 plates. It was not 4 plates in my specific case because I don't have 4 sets of 45s, but I had enough plates to work up to 405 pounds on the deadlift. And I pulled like a pretty good rep, right? I might have had another 20 pounds in me, maybe 20 to 30 if I belted up and had pre-workout and like everything was perfect and the sun was tilted the right way. So my max is sitting somewhere around 425, 430. And we're pulling 225 for 100 reps. I mean, we're working with 55, 60% of my max deadlift. For those that know anything about percentages, you don't really want to do anything for 100 reps that's anywhere over 50%. And I was working closer to 60%. So not great. Somebody who deadlifts 500 or more than that, which is a lot of people in the CrossFit competitive space, and a place that I will strongly work towards this off season. Over the course of 100 reps, it's a little bit easier for them every single time they pull, a little bit less strain on their back. And over the course of a 10-minute workout, they're not as tired. They don't have to take as much rest to do more reps in the deadlift, which is where I lost time. I ended up with a score of 181 reps, which means that I got up to the top at 10, and then I started coming back down the mountain 9, 8 of each, 7 of each, 6 of each, 5 of each. I got to the round of 4 deadlifts and got the first deadlift done on that set for a score of 181. And honestly, it was a score that I was really proud of. I felt like I maximized. You can always do better, right? After you do a workout, you now know exactly what it's going to feel like at every part of that workout. So could I redo these workouts and get better scores and put them up on the scoreboard? Yeah, I could be placed higher. Could have done that the first week, probably had another 10 or 15 reps in me. Could have done it this week. I think this week I maybe had a chance at getting close to finishing, going from 181 to the mid 190s and finishing the workout is 200 reps. So I could be significantly higher on the leaderboard. But again, when it's all said and done, I'm going to judge what place I get in the world based on the quarterfinal results and not on the open. And for the simple fact that you can redo workouts in the open. So there are a ton of people who, and good for them if they're trying to get a higher score to make the quarterfinals or to like beat their friends, whatever, totally no problem with it. But the one and done is more important to me. What can you do the first time out in a workout with no information, right? Just your past experience with this movement and that movement and this time frame and that time frame. What can you do first time out without ever feeling this exact workout? What, buck up and go get your best score. And I feel like I got really close to that for a first attempt. So I was happy with it. Got to do it with at a gym I've never worked out in, with a couple guys that I've never worked out with. And one that I have, Cole Fisher, my former teammate. I think I mentioned that last week. Actually ended up beating Cole, but got beat by the other guy. So I was like right in the middle of them, and we were all pretty close regardless. It was really fun. We pushed each other. It was fucking awesome. Amazing. So 181 reps. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that look like? Well, last week I got 274 reps, and that was good enough in the world for a 7,702nd place. We'll just call it 7,700th in the world. This week, my 181 reps got me in this specific workout 5,000th, 5,046 to be exact, but we'll just call it 5,000th. So from 7,700th in the first week down to 5,000th for the second week. So I really cut off over a third of the leaderboard. I did better on this workout relative to the rest of the world. Right. And I'm proud of that. I feel great about that, especially because my deadlift isn't great. As a combined score, so you add 7,702 and 5,046 up, that gives me a total points of 12,748, which gives you, that'll, give you your total ranking. That places me, again, after the first week, my total ranking was the same as just the one workout ranking. So 7,702nd. After 2 weeks, I've bumped that down 2,500 spots to 5,218th in the world. I sit just outside the top 5,000 in the world. Let me pull up my phone because I know that one of the leaderboards I care about is North America or the United States. So in North America, that brings me to just over 2,200th. That includes Mexico and Canada. And if you take out Mexico and Canada and you look at just the United States, I sit in the top 1,800 people. As you guys know, again, going back to 2 episodes ago when we talked about my goals for this open, which were a little off, I guess, relative to each other, because I was just going off of past. It would seem as though there's a larger participation from the people outside of the United States this year, which is great, but it kind of skews the ratio I was basing myself off of. My goal was to be top 3,000 in the world. That's going to be tough to do with where I'm placed right now. I'd have to have a workout that I would again have to improve my individual workout placing, which is more than possible, right? I could get top 4,000 or top 3,000 in a workout. It's going to have to include a couple things to bring that average score down. I think that I have a chance to do that. Of course, we don't know the workout until tomorrow, but within the United States, I wanted to be top 2,000 in the United States, or maybe closer to top 1,500. And I'm very, very close to that. I'm top 1,800 right now. So I'm stoked about that. Another week of seeing a ton of people put their scores up and There's a lot of people that are better than me, and that fires me up for the next year of training. I'm already it's ridiculous. It's an obsession I have right now, but I think about this shit all day long. I'm telling you, I think about this shit all day long. How can I become more lethal in fitness? How can I build a bigger engine? How can I build a bigger deadlift? How can I build a bigger squat? How can I do both of those at the same time? How can I increase my max set of muscle ups, my max set of toes to bar, my max set of chest to bar? How can I do that and then pair that with a heavy lift? How can I increase my rowing intervals, my just straight aerobic work? How much do I need to run? How much do I need to bike? The list goes on and on. This is the shit that runs through my head. And it's exhausting because not only do you think like, holy shit, how do we manage all that? But then you actually have to go and do the work. You have to go and train 2-3 hours a day and do the work. And I tell you what, I fucking love this shit. I don't know if I'll ever be good enough to make semifinals. Is that the goal in the next 2 years? Maybe 2024? That's the goal. I'd love to be on the cusp and maybe get a chance, or maybe along the way, the next 2 years, find a couple fit females and another fit male and try and take a team to the semifinals. I think that's a better, probably more fun and enjoyable way of getting to a higher level of competing inside the CrossFit structure. I don't know if individually I'll be fit enough in 2 years to be top 120. Right now I'm sitting top 2200, I said. I would have to knock off 2,000 spots and get all the way down into the top 200 to even be in the conversation for maybe a spot in semifinals. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of fucking work. Do I think it can be done? Absolutely. Is there a lot that has to go right and a lot of work that has to be put in to even find out? Yeah. But this is the shit that fires me up, and I constantly think about it. There's been 2 nights in the last 2 weeks, or probably the last 10 days, where I've been up in the middle of the night just thinking about, how do I get a bigger deadlift? How do I get how can I increase my VO2 max? Who the fuck lays in bed at night and thinks, oh, I can't wait for the next year of training to wake up every day and just do rowing intervals and burpees and hardcore echo bike and assault bike. I can't wait to just burn myself to the ground so that I can build up my VO2 max. That's what's going through my psychotic, fitness obsessed head. And it's how I do things. And I love it. I'm motivated as shit to, I can't wait to do the quarterfinals, but I'm motivated as shit to put in a full year of dedication to this. It's going to be insane. So got a little off topic there, got a little fired up. Sorry for the cuss words. Yeah, I was ranked in the top, almost pushing 8,000 there in the first week. And now after 2 weeks and 2 tests, I'm down to almost cracking the top 5,000 in the world. And I'm 1,800th in the US. In Iowa, again, on a much smaller scale, because there's not as much variance and it's a smaller pool. I didn't increase a ton of spots. A lot of the guys who did well last week did well this week. So, me being good across the board at stuff, it did help me. As you guys remember, I was 40th in the first workout. And in Iowa, which is a scoreboard that doesn't matter at all. But I like to look at it just because it's like, okay, who's in Iowa and what does that look like? I was 37th, so very consistent, 37th in the second workout. So a total score of 40 and 37, that gives me 77 total points, which is good enough to be tied for 35th in Iowa. So I dropped down 5 spots. And I think trying to be top 25 would be great in Iowa for this year. Again, if I want to be top, even close to making a semifinal, I'm going to have to be in the top 5 of Iowa, which is, there's some fucking dudes. I don't even know some of these people. I've never heard of them, but there's some dudes that can do some fitness. I was sort of a hot spot for some reason. So, you know, the work is set, right? It's laid out in front of me. I got to go do it. And I'm pumped up to take you guys through that. But what's left here? Again, I'm working myself up. Where I ranked in this workout, where that leaves me after 2 weeks. I think it leaves me in a good spot. Again, similar stimulus. So I would love to see a workout with handstand push-ups and pistols, which are one-legged squats. They call them pistols in the CrossFit world. You know, and I don't know, something else, maybe more burpees, but that's not going to happen. Very, very likely. And they've been putting out hints on Instagram that this next workout will be chest to bar pull-ups or muscle ups or toes to bar, something on the bar, something gymnastic-y, which is not my strong suit, but I am excited because that is one of the biggest things that I've improved upon in the last 6 months of doing this. So very excited to test myself there, see where I stack up. And there's a good chance that we see thrusters as well, or double unders as sort of the cardio movement there. All things that I'm capable of doing, all things that I feel pretty confident about. We will see how I put those together. But that workout will be released tomorrow. I will do the workout probably Friday. Might have to do it alone this week. And then, again, you won't hear about that workout until 2 weeks from now. But I'm excited to share that with you and share where I end up in the open. And at this point, we're locked into quarterfinals. So excited to bring that to you as well. That's it. Got fired up today. Talk to you guys next week, 2 weeks from now. Peace.